Hey there, patrons. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. Um, this video that I'm dropping, I'm gonna show two video clips. One of them is by put out by David Stern News, I believe. Let me just minimize this. American Body Cam, okay, is one of them. And the next video clip that I'll show you after that is by a channel Redacted, and I'm gonna leave links, both links in my description, so you guys can go on these channels and check out more information for yourself. But as my thumbnail says, you already got the gist of what this is going to be about. Okay, the second video clip that I'm going to show you is in my opinion, is truly going to piss off a lot of people. Okay, and it's something that I always try to stay on. As a matter of fact, there's another video clip that I have to go through that was sent to me by one of my subscribers. When I get to that, I'm going to see what I can do as far as the information to put that out also. But for now, we're going to focus on these two videos. But before I do that, just a couple of quick things. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but Microsoft went down worldwide. It's affecting a lot of people. It's affecting me today. Can't go to work. Can't use my work app on my phone. Phones are down. Banks are down. Airport flights. All kinds of shit is down. Okay, so who knows what happened? Not trying to get into that just yet. I looked it up on the news. There's not that many news outlets putting out the information, but I mean, from what I've seen, it's affecting New York. It's affecting a couple other states. It's obviously affecting my state here. I believe it's affecting Miami, from what I checked out. And supposedly, yeah, it's they say it's not a cyber attack, but it's funny how they're saying this because they have so many 365 apps or something like that. So their mainframe, I guess you can say, their main headquarters, something happened and it just basically knocked down a ton of stuff. So hopefully all that will be up and running sometime today. We'll see. Second thing is, okay, and I'm very excited, so I want to share it with you guys first before I continue with this content. YouTube reached out to me. They are reviewing my channel for monetization, which is great. I had to fill out the proper stuff last night. Emailed it to them. They said it takes about a month for them to see where we go from here as far as monetization. So I'm really excited about that. Never thought I could, but with that being said, I'm still about 700 to 800 hours short by their standards from what I'm reading, but I may be wrong. But in case I'm not wrong on that, if everyone watching my videos, and I know some of my videos are very lengthy, if you guys can please kindly watch the videos all the way to the end. Some of them are 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, but it'll help build up those extra hours. So like that, when they, because I already qualified with the subscribers, even though there's no such thing as too little. But as far as the threshold, I think I needed 1,000 subscribers. And I want to thank all my new subscribers and all my subscribers here on YouTube and on Rumble for joining the channel. You guys just keep joining, and it's great. But if it's going to be something where they say I don't qualify because I don't have enough hours, I'm supposed to have like 4,000 hours of watch time. It'd be nice if everybody, you know, could watch at least a half hour straight through. That builds up. So if 500 of you could do it, 100 of you could watch an hour, that's an easy 1,000 hours right there. Also, the thumbs up helps out a lot. That helps with the algorithm. And yeah, that'd be great if I could get monetized. It's not like I'm going to be rich. I mean, no time soon. But my goal has always been to get monetized and to do certain things from there to keep up and keep going forward on the journey. As a lot of you guys know, I started this channel in order to help people. Okay, through awareness, and also my long-term goal is to help people with cancer, and that's what I've been saying from the beginning. And after my friend passed away, my best friend passed away last year, that's what got me started on this journey. It was I started it out of anger and heartache. Okay, but it's not something that I'm doing to line my pockets. It's and don't get me wrong, I mean, if it's something that, you know, and I'm hoping and praying that it becomes very fruitful, it'll just give me more in order for me to help more. Let's put it that way, because I do have long-term plans that I would like to see come to fruition through this channel and other things that I want to do with the help of my YouTube channel and my Rumble channel. So, but we'll get into that some other time. I'm gonna digress on that for now. But yeah, so again, I just want to thank everyone. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, pass the channel around, and if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store, truelopatriot.com. And one more thing before we start, I'm sorry. I left the link to my Rumble channel, and if everybody, I'm not saying you have to, if you don't have Rumble, it's fine. If you do have Rumble, if you could just subscribe to my Rumble channel. And there's two things for that. One, just in case anything happens, okay, I know you guys can read between the lines, you know, you can check me out on Rumble. And also, if you want to watch my content on Rumble,
before I turn it over,
well, let me stop that. You can, because the Rumble videos that I put out, they get monetized right away within a couple of hours. They don't make as much, but that's because I need people to watch the videos, okay? And in truth be told, I haven't even collected any money from Rumble since I started. I started the same time last year. I have not collected anything. I know that I get a few cents per video, you know, that people watch, per view, I should say. But it's not, believe me, like I said, I haven't received a penny. But hopefully someday I'll be just as famous as Dan Bongino and make a living out of it. We'll see. But anyway, with that being said, let's get into these videos. And I want to touch on these videos right quick, because this is something that affects everybody, and it's affecting illegal immigration, which winds up coming back to hitting on us Americans. And see, these are things that a lot of the mainstream media won't talk about. Now, this sheriff right here, he's from Florida, okay? And this, if anybody knows him, I think it's Sheriff Grady. This guy is no nonsense, okay? He's no nonsense. He puts everybody on blast. He does not give a shit if you're man, woman, gay, straight, black, white. You break the law, you commit a crime, he's going to put you on blast. Now, what he's going to talk about now is something that, like I said, the mainstream media won't talk about it, okay? He is the only one putting out this kind of information, and you're going to be so surprised the information he puts out, because I've been putting it out, other content creators have been putting it out, and the people on the left, okay, the powers that be, these cynical bastards in government, they just keep trying to tell people that don't believe your lying eyes and ears, okay? And this won't just be the worst of it on this, what I want to show you here, okay? The second video is really going to piss you off, because it got me, like, it pushed me back, like, wow, I did not know this. For as much as I try to keep up on it with missing children and stuff like that, I didn't realize what was going on. But we'll get to that after this. So without further ado, listen to what this man has to say. Here we go.
my colleagues here, they worked with us to make this happen. And what this is, and I want everybody to see it clearly, federal policy drives illegal immigrant crime and victimization. And that's the focus, other than our victims of human trafficking. Listen, folks, I want to introduce you to Andres Gill, okay? Here's this guy. He's also on this board, but get a look at him for a second. He came down here from New York with 3 females. All of them are in the country illegally. Did you hear what I said? You're all here illegally. He's the one that comes with them to drive them. These ladies are all controlled by a human trafficker. We think their human trafficker is a female. She sets up their appointments, she puts their ads online, she tells them where to go. And by the way, on Friday, the victims of human trafficking, and we've graded them out, 3 of them that are here illegally from Venezuela, 3 of them have to pay her $3,000 apiece on Friday, or else they're threatened.
Now I'm going to pause it for a second, and this is something that should upset a lot of people. If anybody remembers the video I put out a few videos ago, I spoke about someone that I met who was kidnapped and forced into sex trafficking. Okay? And if you remember clearly the video, if not, go back, when I said that she told me that she was forced, okay, she was forced into sex 30, 40, 50 times a day. Every single day. So these women that he's talking about that have to pay 3,000 American dollars to whoever is holding them captive, just imagine what they have to deal with every single day. Okay? And I want this to burn into people's minds. And I know that all of you that are on my channel, that are part of my family, I know that you know where I'm coming from. But to newer people that are coming in, to people that want to be ignorant, like all these leftists that want to come on the channel and say dumb shit on the, you know, on the comments, you need to close your eyes and you need to feel it in your stomach that could be you. If you're a female, that could be your niece, that could be your cousin, that could be your sister. I mean, hell, that could even be your mother. Okay? That is being forced to endure that kind of pain. And it's not like they're being showered with flowers and taken on dates and taken to dinner. No. Okay? They are being forced to do something against their will. And what really kills me is that Biden and his regime keep talking about that the border is this, the border is that, it's safe. The statistics show that what you guys are talking about, you're just blowing a dog whistle. And it's like, you know, I listen to these people and all I can keep thinking is, man, you people are so damn heartless. You have nothing inside of you that carries an ounce of morals, of scruples, of sympathy. None of that. Everybody on the left talks so much about where's the humanity? We've got to let them in. Where's the humanity? Yeah, where is the humanity? By you letting them in, knowing very well that this is going on. It's like I always say, it's wicked, it's evil, it's beyond that. Not enough words could describe or even make anyone try to describe it that will get that gut-wrenching feeling out of them. There's not enough words, not enough curse words, not enough words. I mean, there's not enough to describe how could you keep letting this happen while you still try to contain yourself from just getting so angry that you might, you know, you might want to do something stupid. And like I said, I'm not advocating for any kind of violence or anything like that, but it's like these people on the left, they just bring out this ugliness out of everybody, and they do things that produce more wickedness. Okay? It's beyond me the way they can live with themselves. But let's continue.
So they're not free. They're really indentured. and they're quote unquote paying off their debt. Now here's what they told us, all right? I'm sure the federal government will verify that this is not true, but you decide who you want to believe.
Exactly.
Whether you want to believe these victims of human trafficking or the whitewash the federal authorities give you. They said that when they came into the country illegally, DHS gave them a form, an ID, paperwork that allows them to fly for free. You know, Southwest will let your bags fly free. Well, the federal government will let your illegal immigrants fly free.
Okay, now that right there, it's something that people should really get upset about also. See, these are all the things that come out little by little, and Alejandro Mayorkas, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, everybody in that regime have been swindling the American people, okay, for so long. Here we are with taxes being raised, we have to pay our way through, and yet they're giving these illegals basically carte blanche to just say, here's a piece of paper, all you got to do is go to the airports, okay, and you just travel anywhere you want to go. They won't ask you any questions. They're not going to ask you for ID. They're not going to ask you if you committed a crime. Why? Because you have a piece of paper from the federal government that says, let me out for free. And what I find totally wrong, okay, and I think there should be a massive boycott, is the airports, the companies that accept this. That right there in itself tells me, you know what, regardless of who's in it, I mean, hopefully it's not every single airline, but the airlines that are in it are, in my opinion, they're traitors to this country to let this kind of thing happen. And I mean that I mean that 100%. They're traitors to this country. Because they know what's going on. They know these people are illegal. They know there's probably some trafficking going on, and they still collect that damn money. So they're not collecting just a regular, the price for a regular flight that, you know, somebody would normally pay. I don't know, $100, $200, $300. No, you know for a fact, as well as I do, that the only way they could be accepting something like that is that if they're getting paid double, triple, 4 times more. Because if they're getting paid the same, they're going to be like, no, why should we let them through when we could just get it from people that are paying it, you know, with their hard-earned, you know, money. So that means they're getting paid, like I said, 2, 3, 4 times more. And this is the money laundering that a lot of people are not understanding, especially people on the left. This is why it adds up to billions upon billions upon billions of American taxpayer money being just thrown away. Okay? And if you think they're only doing it for 1 or 2 or 3 people, no, I can almost guarantee you they're probably doing it for every single one. I mean, you would have to think, and if not, at least for half of them or more than half of them. That is a lot of wasted taxpayer money, man. To just come out and say, well, we need more money from the federal government, you know, that's the only way we could keep securing the border. Well, shit, you wouldn't have to if you wouldn't let these people, if you wouldn't give them a free plane ticket. That in itself, you know, can save the taxpayer a lot of money. So they can reinvest into security at the border, but that's not what they want. This is a giant money laundering, human trafficking scheme. And it's out in the open. It is out in the open. So there's no more complacency or, well, I didn't know and this one didn't know and we never got that memo. No, it's bullshit. They all know. They know exactly what the hell is going on. But this is what the people get. The ones that didn't want it, they have to live with. And the ones that wanted it sit back and just collect all the money. This is what happens when you have a crooked regime, okay, in the United States. But let's continue.
And they operate out of New York. And they were working up there, and the New York authorities said, hey, if you don't have identification, you can't work in our sex trade up here. You know, we don't allow sex trade here at all, but New York will allow you to do some stuff. If
Not
you
really.
have the proper authority. So they say they make a lot of money. They're addicted to it. These ladies are going to give you more details. They tell us that they fly to major metro centers for free on the federal government, where they set up their appointments for sex all around the country. Did you hear what I said? Listen, folks, if they don't pay $3,000 apiece on Friday, they're in trouble. The human trafficker sets up the deal. Hey, this deal is just outside of Tampa. They say they show this ID, this card, this paper, they fly for free down here. Then they fly back. But we heard a similar theme from all 21 of these folks. We can't work legally. We're addicted to this cash. It's a lot of cash and it's quick, so we have to give $3,000 a week. We get to keep everything above that.
Okay, now also, I'm gonna pause it here because another video I had put out, okay, a few weeks ago, I didn't speak about this, but what I had spoken about was that by them letting in so many illegals, what's gonna wind up happening will be crime. Because they have nowhere to go, the government's giving them money, but they're not getting any jobs, so what's the next thing after that? Crime. Be it robbing people, be it, you know, selling people, whatever the case is. And once again, this is something that the leftists don't give a shit about. They cry so much about where's the humanity, you people are racist, you people don't care, you don't have it in your heart. But look at what your actions have done. Look at what you have perpetrated. You have set this up. From the beginning up until this point, you have set it up. You have pushed people to that brink. And to tell you the truth, sorry, that was a fly or a mosquito or something. It's like, I believe that a lot of these criminals, I should say a lot of these illegals have criminal records. So all you have done is open up the floodgates for them to set up shop and become organized. Okay? And you want to talk about where's the humanity from the right? No, you're the ones that are in charge. You set this up. Once again, this is your baby. You're feeding this beast. But in their eyes, no. We're the humane ones. We love them. No, you don't. They are part of that criminal organization. They're just the dons, and these people are their sub-level soldiers or captains or whatever the hell you want to call it. And they know this. But let's continue.
We have a crisis at the border. And because of the crisis at the border, we have people that are victimizing illegal folks, forcing them into the sex trade, because we allow these criminals in the country illegally. We all rail about this and nobody pays any attention. And then we want to politic everything. Oh, we had a good piece of legislation that limited the average to only 5,000 illegals a day in the country, and then we can shut it off.
Yeah, right.
Well, if you can shut it off at 5,000 people illegally coming in this country a day, you can shut it off at no people illegally coming in this country a day.
Exactly.
But the politicians are politicking while the victims are being victimized. I read an article this week that says, well, the illegals coming here aren't committing crime at any greater percentage than the people who are here illegally.
Bullshit.
What they didn't tell you is if they weren't here illegally at all, the crime they would commit here would be zero.
There you go. Exactly.
So we're being victimized. But that doesn't make any difference on the national level. You see, because they set up there behind their gated communities and and in Congress, and they play politics back and forth between the two parties, while illegals are victimized, citizens are victimized, children are victimized. You got this goofy looking kid here who's making sure that they come up with $3,000 a week apiece, and he's here illegally.
Now I'm going to pause it real quick once again. You know, a lot of people said that Donald Trump was wrong when he said that when he becomes president, that he is going to pass a law that gives the death penalty to drug dealers and human traffickers. And people are like, oh, that's wrong, that's draconian, that's this, that's evil, this, and that. It's like, so then what do you think these people are doing? Is that any less evil? You know? Is that any less evil that that these people, they can take young women and children and do this to them? You know, the left is always wanting to give the criminals a freaking break, and yet the criminals don't give the victims a break. But let's continue.
It's a mess, and it doesn't have to be. If we can deal with it and catch it on the local level, they can stop it on the federal level.
Exactly.
Shame on all of them.
Exactly.
Every one of them.
Yep.
For not getting together and saying, you know, there are things bigger in this country than my individual politics.
Yep. Now, I'm going to stop it right here. The video is 11 minutes long. We only played about 6. And there's a link in the description so you guys can watch the rest, because I want to get, for sake of time, I want to get to the next video. But it's true what he's saying. And before anybody says, you know, anybody that comes on the channel, if any of you leftists come on here trying to talk shit about this man, if you look at his record, he is always doing these sessions, okay, on crime. And he focuses a lot on two things: what's going on with the drugs and children. He is always, him and his crew, they are always busting child molesters, pedophiles, rings of them. I mean, from doctors to teachers to, he even arrests own police officers that he catches up in on this. Deputies, police officers, he doesn't care. And he puts their face and their name on blast. He does not care. Okay? And when you have somebody like him, one would hope that, man, if we only had more, and I do believe we do, okay? But in a lot of these other states, they get shut down. Okay? They get vilified and they get shut down. Thank God this man is in Florida, that I call, you know, every state says, every red state says, we're the free state. To me, Florida is the last free state in America. And no offense to anybody in Texas or any of the other states that, have their freedom. What I'm saying is that it to me is just something different about Florida. And I'm not trying to, run a campaign to move to Florida or anything like that. What I'm trying to say is that I just see more of them putting their foot down without all the blowback from the left. The way, like California, they have a lot of Republicans there. But it's such a blue stronghold, it's hard for them to really speak out and hold their ground, and it's wrong. Okay, the same thing goes like with Arkansas. Arkansas is supposed to be a Republican state, but if you didn't know any better and just moved to Little Rock, it is run like one of the worst blue states around. And I could tell you stories about Arkansas, okay, about what the Democrats do in Little Rock. Okay, but we'll get to that another time. But I just wanted to say that about him so people can understand that this man, he really puts his foot down. And in my opinion, I think he's just one of the great sheriffs out there that gets the job done. Okay, but let's get to the next video. and like I said, it's really going to upset a lot of people. And it's by redacted. There's a link in the description so you guys again could watch the whole video because it's a longer video. But you're going to see how the Biden regime is working behind the scenes, okay? And it is just so damn disgusting. It's horrible, it's disgusting, and for lack of any word, it is just strictly evil. Here we go.
Our next guest is a hero, and you should all know her name, and you should share this story with everyone you know, everyone who cares about children, which should be all of us, but surprisingly, not everyone is on board with this. The Biden administration is not on board with talking about saving our children. Corporate media is not on board with talking about saving our children. And in fact, independent media is not on board with saving our children. Anytime we do a story that highlights the sex trafficking of children across the United States, we get blocked, we get banned, we get demonetized, and I can't put my finger on exactly why that is. Well, yesterday, the Senate held a committee meeting and had testimony from HHS whistleblowers and other whistleblowers who are blowing the lid off of the child sex trafficking operation in the United States with your U.S. tax dollars. You are paying for this. Why is there not more outrage about this? I don't know. Joining me now, though, is one of those heroes. And I want you to just take a look at her testimony from yesterday. This is Tara Rodas. She's an HHS whistleblower when called upon by Senator Chuck Grassley. Watch.
Senator Grassley and honorable senators, thank you for your tireless efforts to protect migrant unaccompanied children from abuse, neglect, labor trafficking, sex trafficking, and other unspeakable horrors.
And Tara joins us now. Thank you for being so brave, and thank.
Okay, now I'm going to stop it for a second, folks. And just quickly, a few months ago, I did a couple of videos, and some of my videos had Chip Roy from Texas in it, talking about how many undocumented children, okay, well, I should say unaccompanied children that were crossing the border or being brought across the border illegally were missing after they got through the border. At the time, he said that they had counted up to 85,000. 85,000. Think about that. Okay? Listen to the number now that this woman says. It's going to blow your mind, man. It's going to blow your mind. Here we go.
Thank you for the amazing work that you are doing, and I cannot believe the silence. It's absolutely deafening, and when I look at my 3 children, I mean, it really makes me sick to my stomach that more people aren't focused on this story. So welcome to the show, and thank you for everything that you're doing.
Well, Clayton, thank you so much for shining a light on what we now know is government-sponsored, taxpayer-funded child trafficking. It's absolutely shameful, and I really appreciate that you have been one of the consistent voices speaking the truth on this issue. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your bravery on this story. And I was stunned because you gave this testimony yesterday, and it's remarkable that when these Senate committee hearings like this, or whether it was COVID from Senator Ron Johnson, these things get banned and blocked, and they're only able to live stream them to the senators' own Facebook pages. Like, it's remarkable to me that there's not more coverage of this. Can I just ask you, why do you think that is? Why is there such deafening silence from corporate media? Why wasn't CNN there? Why wasn't Fox News there? Why weren't more people there covering this story on a national level?
Exactly.
Yeah, well, Clayton, I can't really speculate on why all these other media organizations weren't there. They should be questioned as to why they were not there, right? There's probably a myriad of reasons, but nobody wants to stand up to speak the truth about this unspeakable horror. Nobody wants, it seems, media outlets keep telling us, oh, it's just too dark to talk about. But how are we going to solve this problem if nobody's willing to talk about the truth of what's happening to these children?
Yeah, they say it's too dark to talk about, so they just rather let the kids they just keep letting the kids get sent to the slaughterhouse. Okay? This is too dark to talk about, but they bitch and moan and protest about what's going on in Gaza, what's going on in other countries. But when it comes to something as heinous as this, it's all heinous. The wars, the innocent people, it's all heinous. So what makes this any more different and any more darker? Okay? That the news media outlets don't want to talk about it, but yet, and I have to agree, you know, with even though I get a lot of my information from, like, you know, Fox and different news outlets, it's like, but are you really putting out what's going on? Are you really standing up for what's right? I don't care who you are. I don't care on what outlet, whether it's Fox, CNN, I don't care what social media outlet. If you truly care like you say about children, okay, then why are you not exposing everything that's going on with children, whether be it here in America, American children, or not? But they won't. But let's continue.
They are abused, neglected, and trafficked, and we need people to stand up for them. And that's what me and many of the other whistleblowers who you've had on your show are doing, and that's what we will do until these children are rescued.
Can you paint us a little picture here of your story, and then I want to get into the details of just how bad it is, and you can walk us through what is unfolding right now across the United States. But when was the moment that you decided to come forward and blow the whistle? I mean, you spent nearly 20 years in public service, and what was the moment that you noticed something was off and you decided to come forward?
Yeah, well, Deb White, who you've had on your show before, when the federal government said we have a crisis at the southern border, which they knew in 2021, they actually put out an all call to all federal employees and said, we need you to leave your job and come help us with the crisis, which Deb and I did. And we were deployed together to the Pomona Fairplex in California. And it only took us 2 weeks in case management, looking into the faces of these children, seeing them scared, seeing them have panic attacks, children having to be put on suicide watch, children screaming for their parents.
Okay, I'm gonna cut it off real quickly again. I mean, it's just freaking heart-wrenching. Something else that she's gonna say, and when I said this is gonna piss you off, by right, this should piss you off, but there's one detail that I did not know about. And why I didn't think about it, I guess it was just me not paying attention. But when she says what she has to say that I pointed out, it's gonna make sense. Like, how is it that they're getting all these kids? But let's continue.
That we knew something was wrong. I mean, we thought this was a family reunification program. When I said, here I am, send me, I thought I was going to be doing puzzles and playing games with children and then sending them to loving homes. We had no idea that we were about to discover this very organized, cartel-like trafficking scheme. And it was just a horrible thing. And we, in the very beginning of June of 2021, when we began seeing this, we began reporting. And there were people on the site saying, oh my goodness, you shouldn't say anything. They might send you home.
Look at all these kids. Little boys, little girls. I mean, in the picture before, you seen all those little boys huddled up. I mean, you can just see it in their faces and their eyes. They're tired, they're distraught, they look confused. And you're going to see why. You're going to see the big factor of how these evil people are getting away with this.
Oh, I'm like, I don't care if they send me home. These are children. I am going to speak the truth. Deb was speaking the truth. Aaron Stevenson, who you've had on. Carlos Ariano, who you've had on. We've all been trying to tell the truth to save the kids. Yeah, but once you look into the face of a frightened child, some of whom can't even speak Spanish, So my Spanish skills, my husband's from El.
Now you heard what she said. Some that can't even speak Spanish. Now I know a lot of people are looking at this like, well, what do you mean they can't speak Spanish? They're coming from South America. Listen to what she says.
Salvador, so I speak Spanish, and that was one of the reasons why I mobilized for the mission, was I knew they needed Spanish speakers. But I'm looking into the faces of children who can't even speak Spanish. They speak Mayan dialects. They're indigenous children that they are preying upon from the hills of Guatemala. It's evil. I've never been that close to evil, Clayton.
You see that? That is one of the main factors. They cannot put these children with the proper adults because they don't even speak Spanish. So when they're speaking an indigenous language, and it blew my mind because I was like, how did I not get that? It's because they're grabbing kids that are raised under a dialect that many people don't know. So yeah, you have your interpreters here on the US side that will speak freaking Swahili, Chinese, Japanese, Arab, Spanish, whatever it is, any dialect of Spanish. But we're the ones that speak Mayan. We're the ones that speak all the other languages that are up, like she said, in the hills of like Guatemala or some of these other countries. So they're basically taking a lot of these tribal kids that if they don't speak Spanish, they definitely don't speak English. So now this little child is speaking gibberish in to somebody's face. They don't know what the hell they're saying. So they're like, oh, well, if I don't understand it, nobody in the streets are going to understand it. Who's going to listen to that little kid? So for all we know, these little kids are walking the street saying stuff, probably screaming for help, and somebody thinks it's just somebody's kid having a tantrum. So people just turn away. The child is just, giving the parent a fit. It's true what she says. It is evil. And if she knows about it and she was put on Capitol Hill to talk about it, why isn't the government doing something about it? Why isn't the Biden regime doing something about it? Because he doesn't give a shit.
It's evil.
And I think that maybe speaks to why the mainstream media ignores the story. They'd rather just talk about Trump. They'd rather just talk about Biden. They don't want to talk about this evil. I think people compartmentalize this. We need to shine a light on this because it's so dark. Can you talk about where are these kids coming from? They're having panic attacks without their parents. So are coyotes bringing them across the border and they're being dropped at these facilities? How exactly are they arriving in these facilities in the first place before the United States government then traffics them around the other parts of the United States?
Yeah, well, it's a very well organized criminal operation. So I can give you an example of one of our cases out of Texas. There was a Guatemalan living in Texas, and he had children who he was luring from Guatemala, telling them, look, you're making $2.50 a day now, but if you come to the United States, I'm going to pay you $6 an hour. So some of the children are lured, like they believed they were going to be Bill Gates rich, right? Instead of making $2.50 a day, they're more than doubling and tripling their wages. They're like $6 an hour. Wow. So they're lured. Some of them are stolen from their families. Sometimes their families are being sold a bill of goods that, hey, if you send your child to the United States, they're going to be able to send money back to you. And we'll give you money now if you let us take your child. And so sometimes the parents, because again, they live in the hills, many of the children had not been to school, couldn't read or write. And so their families, I can only assume, are the same. They're preying on a very, very vulnerable population to begin with. And then they're bringing them here. Again, it's evil. So the children arrive at our border already knowing who their sponsor is going to be when they get here. If you've seen the news Some people right on the border will show pictures of the children holding up a little piece of paper with the name and a number. So when they present to Border Patrol, our fine Border Patrol take that information as their U.S. point of contact. So that's our Border Patrol. Then they hand them over to HHS, which is where Deb and I were working, and that becomes their sponsor. And that's the number that in 10 to 14 days, come on guys, 10 to 14 days was the goal, was to call that person and say, hey, are you expecting a kid? Hey, let's trade some information over WhatsApp. What's your address? And then we put them on transportation with carloads, and they're delivered to baggage claim in an airport. So that's how it works. And it's absolutely astounding that the US government last year spent $6.3 billion to traffic these children. And this year we're on track to spend $7.3 billion to put children in labor slavery, sex slavery, and other unspeakable horrors.
I'm going to end it there. There's still about a good 11 minutes to it, and I'll leave the link in the description so you guys can watch the rest if you can stomach it. You know, it's just horrible the way when different political parties switch positions, the way a lot of them could engage in stuff like this when they're in power. Okay? And yet look at other people and point out their faults while brainwashing other people to believe it. Now, just for a quick side note before I end the video, and you'll see in the video, she got fired. Okay? When she blew the whistle, or before she was going to blow the whistle, I believe it was, they approached her and said, there's no more room for you here. They literally emptied out her desk and office the same day that they came up to her and walked her right out into the street. Okay? And I think it was right before she blew the whistle, and that's why she was on Capitol Hill giving her testimony. You know, there is a special place in hell. And I know a lot of people have heard that. And I always hope and pray that people will change their ways, but there will always be people, many people, that will only give in to what the enemy wants. They've sold their souls. I believe those are demons among us. Just evil, wicked people that don't care. They don't care about this life. They don't care about the afterlife. And they definitely don't care about anybody else's life for that matter. They know what they want. They know what they want to feed while they're alive on this earth. And then once again you have people like this woman coming out that has a heart that was put in a position, okay, in society to help people, and they get shut down. They get shut down, and then more evil people come and try to take out the president who says, I'm going to put an end to this. Okay? I don't care what platform you're on. I don't care what political party you represent. But if you can turn your eyes from this and not care, you are definitely headed for that special place in hell if you don't change. Okay? It breaks my heart just thinking about these kids, especially the ones that, like she said, can't even speak Spanish because they speak a different language, a language that not a lot of people talk. Okay, because they've been talking that language and living that life for hundreds of years, and nobody's, you know, they stayed in their little spot up in the mountains, and like, you know, we know that the modern world exists, but we do things differently, and We just don't conform to different languages. This is what we got. And they feed upon that. And they're like, well, you know what? We could speak the dialect in order to get what we want. But once we take that child and throw them out into society, nobody's going to know. Like I said, they're probably just going to see these children, you know, putting up a fight and thinking is just a child having a temper tantrum. And for all we know, that child is screaming, help me, please help me. They're doing this to me. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said, you know, you have to think about it and let it hit you hard in your stomach. Okay? Close your eyes. To all you people out there that think this is bullshit, to all you people out there who want to keep voting for people like Biden and his crooked regime and all that, and you rhino Republicans that think that you're on the side of good and you know you're definitely not, close your eyes and think about that being somebody that you love, one excuse me, one of your children. Think of the worst thing that could happen to one of your children. Close your eyes and think about it, and then open your eyes and look at that child and tell me or tell anybody that you're still okay with what you're doing. Because if you are, I tell you, Judgment Day is coming. And we all have to stand in front of God. There is no escaping that. Escaping a wicked life is always possible. It can be done. Okay, escaping God's wrath, no one will escape God's wrath. Anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. If you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store, TrueOutlawPatriot.com. And again, people, pray for me in this channel that we get monetized. That'd be great, so I can continue my journey. Okay, so try to watch the videos as long as you can. Like I said, that helps a lot, and definitely give it a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. So remember, people, stay vigilant. Keep praying for each other, keep praying for the children in this country, and pray for Donald Trump. And pray, okay? Pray for our enemies. Pray that God will touch as many hearts, if not all of them. Because this has to stop. It truly has to stop. Peace.